Hello everyone and welcome to episode 29 of Requiem. So, woo! Everybody's here.
Requiem.
We're all Requiem. We're all ready to go. And so go we shall. I forgot to switch to update the character rotation. I'll do that at some point. But they are level 13, guys. They're not level 12. Let's just clarify for that right immediately now. Anyway, let's begin the episode with a quick little recap of what happened last time. So, our players escaped the Grand Arcanist's tower after letting her be captured by the Weave, by the people that they are fighting. It seems that this person held some importance because it caused her disappearance, caused a commotion outside of the tower, or at least their invasion of the tower caused a commotion outside. And as they were leaving, after witnessing the death of Grime, Violet's ex-wife, and their ex-companion, and after it being revealed to them that Ketri, Violet's adopted daughter, had been captured by these evil people, they ran away from the Grand Arcanist's tower, diving into the jungle that surrounds it, that surrounds this rift in the elemental plane of water in the middle of the desert, just hoping for a moment to rest. They were intercepted by a woman that shone like the sun. She asked a question to them. She asked if they were against this world, or if they wished to save it, to which the heroes bravely answered the right answer, which is that they want to save it, although some of them did hesitate, looking specifically at Vesper, and maybe a little bit of Haj'Draal. Finally, after they gained enough distance, they rested for the night, or well, they wanted to, but they were attacked. An ash screen was dropped upon our heroes, and from it emerged someone that they found out was Agnar Dragonsbane, Aiden Dragonsbane's father, the man that they, well, are pretty much searching for, that they want to save, that they want to get redemption from after delivering him to these evil people that they're fighting now, all that time ago. Now they found his father, and in finding his father, they got a bunch of information regarding what it is that they're doing here and what their purpose might be. Nothing is sure yet. A prophecy was given to them. A prophecy that speaks of 4. A prophecy that speaks that these 4 will make the choice that will either save or doom this world. And they learned of a song. A song that is at the center of this prophecy as well, and at the center of the Dragonsbanes, the family that they have been trying to, well, save from...
You need to sing it again.
I'm not going to sing it now.
The recap.
This song, if they could just go, this song is in the chapters, they could find it in the previous episode. This song was entrusted to the Herald, to Emily, who is one of 3 people in this world right now that know the lyrics to this song. It is important that Emily sings this song at the end, if she is to save the world. But if she chooses to sing it wrong, or to not sing it at all, or to twist it in any way, at that moment, the world will end. So if there is one important person to keep sane in the group right now, it is Emily.
No pressure.
After all of this information was discussed, the heroes realized they had to talk to Wylie, the person who set them on this quest. But to that, they had to make it to Nad'ar, to the Elderroot Forest, to the kingdom of the Wood Elves where Wylie would be. But they had to once again travel without any magical means. And why? Because they don't have any. Not for any other specific reason. And so the journey will take them 7 days from where they are right now to the capital city of Oaza, and then 3 days if they find Nesli and Fireball II, her sand cutter, to take them across the desert without any sleep from her, so they could reach the edge of the Elderwood forest. And so...
Bets on it's going to be the Fireball the Third.
Oh, fuck! You already spoiled it! It's actually the fourth.
Oh no!
Too broke!
Shit.
So, while they were on this initial 7-day journey that they had to make on foot, they were asking a bunch of questions to Agnar, Dragonsbane, in hopes of getting some clarification of what is happening exactly in this world and what their place is in the middle of all of this. But also, Emily decided that she would read The Magical Journeys of Big Blue again, but this time specifically searching for things that might be helpful to her and to the group. And that's where we ended the previous episode, was with Emily checking the book during these 7 days of travel, which we are going to time skip. Okay? If there's anything you want to accomplish during these 7 days, you say it, we roleplay through that, and then we proceed onward to the others. There will be a travel table for the other 3 days. But Emily was reading The Magical Journeys of Big Blue to search for something helpful. So, first of all, Emily, you have read this book once, all the way through. It took you all those days at sea to do it the first time. You know, after all, you're more of a writer than a reader, which I personally understand. And so it takes you it took you a little bit of time to get through it. And there are things that you remember, others that you don't. But there is one thing that you remember. One thing you remember is that Big Blue had a special power. He had a special ability. And you recall, or actually Emily thinks, that it could be useful to reread the chapter in which this ability is spoken of the first time. Maybe that will give you a better understanding of what follows. And so in the first chapters of the book, it probably would be kind of the middle of the first part, the first larger part of the book. There is a little chapter that speaks of that power. And that chapter goes as follows. Story time, folks. Sit tight. After a long nap, Big Blue woke up to a sad realization. It had been a long time coming. A thing he had feared. A thing everyone feared. Or so he believed. See, Big Blue traveled and he met many people who presented him with their stories. Stories that will last forever in his mind, or at least so he hoped, and then forever on in the world as sons and daughters of the ones who first told those stories added new chapters to them. But Big Blue was forgetting. The first story he had ever memorized was slowly drifting away from his mind. It seemed to be getting too full, and so things looked dreadful to him. It looked like his story was coming to an end, because he could no longer collect other stories. What was to become of him? But most importantly, what was to become of the finer details of those old stories? Were they supposed to be lost? It just couldn't be. The future looked grim if the past wasn't there to inspire or warn, be it through wonder or woe. There were books and records, sure, but those were lost, or traded, or sometimes even burnt. Surely the people who burnt them did it by accident. Big Blue knew how hard it was to control flaming sneezes. So what now? What was he to do? Big Blue just sat and pondered. No more stories, he thought with conviction. Not before I find a place to keep all these others in. He pondered, reasoned and ruminated, debated and deliberated, He even considered and contemplated, yet nothing came to mind. There was no spell he learned from his magic friends, nor prayer he heard from his devout buddies that would help him memorize or just know all stories in the world and then keep them in his mind. It was too small, and nothing could make it bigger. But then, a man walked in front of him, peering from thin air. Big Blue had never seen that man, but he looked regal. His back was straight and his hair sparkled in blue lightning, as did his eyes. Big Blue smiled. The man already had a lot in common with him. He loved lightning too. "Hello there, friend," Big Blue said. "I'm Blue. It's quite delightful to meet you." "I know who you are. I have been watching," the man responded. As he spoke, his voice seemed to travel all around Big Blue in strange zaps, faster than lightning, faster than a thought. "Then you surely know I am in quite the pickle right now, and by my scales I do not see any way out of it," said Big Blue. "Indeed. You want to remember more," the man said, pacing around him. "Yes, I don't think it's fair that these wonderful stories should be forgotten. Certainly not by me. I'd like to enjoy them whenever I like." "If only your short memory was the biggest threat to the stories you love. From this world, many things were born that desire nothing more than to take those stories. But I share this with you, Blue. I too wish to remember them, and so I do. Yet, although my memory is vast, my attention does tend to wander, which I'm sure you understand," the man smiled. "Of course. It is very difficult to decide where to look when there are so many wonderful things about. But I confess that stories, those grab my full attention at all times." "So they do, and that's why I'll help you." "Oh, you will? Now that is a pleasant surprise. My head was starting to ache from all the brooding," Big Blue said, laughing. "I will bestow on you a gift," the man said, producing a crown of brilliant light that seemed immaterial. "With it you shall see as I see, and remember as I remember, yet your attention shall be committed to this world and this world alone. All of its stories are yours to care for, and the ones that most fascinate you, you may tell them to me, so that I don't need to be looking here at all times." "Oh my, that is wonderful! Am I truly worthy of such a gift? I've met many others that perhaps would use it better," Big Blue asked. "It's not meant to be used. It's meant to be enjoyed, and for that, I think there is none better than you." The crown was laid on Big Blue's head, and suddenly his memory was fresh. He remembered all the stories he had ever been told, and many more that he hadn't been, and then even more that were still to happen. Big Blue gasped. "Oh no! There's an ending. Sir, all stories will end and be consumed, and so shall you. They all converge. They all break. They shatter." "Ah, yes, they do," the man nodded. "Although this ending may yet bring a new beginning, can't you see past it?" Big Blue's eyes lit up with hope. A hope that was born from nowhere, yet everywhere. I can. I see past it, but it's vague and veiled. The true ending of this storyline is far, far away from us. Well, one of them is, I think. I can't be sure. But I certainly can't wait to know it. Indeed. I have often found that the best stories have been in equal parts thought and felt. Perhaps you only see one part of it all, the man said. Big Blue was still concerned. Waiting to see what happened could be dangerous. Surely that good man didn't want stories to stop being told forever. And may I help? May I ever help my friends if I see their stories are at risk? Big Blue asked. The man turned sharply towards Big Blue, startling him. I can't do that, for I am not of this world. Or, well, I am and am not, but you are part of its story. Does that mean yes? Big Blue grinned with all his teeth. The man laughed. My favorite stories are often told or made by those who enjoy hearing them the most. they are crafted with subtlety and leave room for the characters to be who they are. Big Blue understood the man. They shared something now, a bond stronger than the friendship he had hoped to forge at first. The man vanished as quickly as he had appeared, and Big Blue was left in awe. There were so many branches to the stories of this world. He could see where they split, but so much of it was vague. Some of it would require him to be there and witness it. Perhaps one day, when he mastered this power, he could witness many things at once, but for now he would continue flying around and talking to people, because that's what he liked doing. This is the first chapter where his power is revealed. Further on, there is a section of the book. Oh, actually, before I move on, is there any part here that you guys want me to repeat or that might require any clarification? Or can we proceed?
Who's the man?
Wouldn't you like to know?
It's funny that I wrote, like, it's the writer of the book, and then Onion kept talking. I was like, never mind, maybe.
So, nothing? Can I proceed?
It's just like blue lightning eyes and hair. That
Yeah,
was it, right?
That looked regal, yes.
Yeah.
It's Thor. It's not.
Oh no.
All right. So, there is a section of the book, a little before the middle now, so closer towards the actual midpoint of the book, that speaks of the endless night, which you guys probably remember from the first chapters that we mentioned, that we talked about here, of the magical journeys of Big Blue. It's, however, an extremely light-hearted view of it. Big Blue seemed to be journeying and helping people all around the world, but what happened during this time and what brought its ending seems to be hidden, concealed. But Emily, you remember from reading the whole book and from your check from before, a mention of that time. Just a passage in one of the later chapters, way past the middle point of the book, that now maybe has a new meaning for you. You had asked, once again in the previous episode, if you could find something that could be helpful for you guys now. There are no hidden techniques or strategies to defeat whatever is ahead of you, but there is this. This is the chapter that I'm talking about. Big Blue journeyed across the bright skies that shared his color. He flew and flew, around and farther than he'd ever been, as he reveled in its clear beauty, and the sun warmed his scales. Then soon it all turned orange and red, as if a great fire took over the sky. His cheeks were used to smiling, yet at the end of that day they hurt from smiling so much. There were so many colors again. It hadn't been that long ago when the sky had lost all of them, and turned dark, derelict, and dooming, and it was wise to be grateful, and to appreciate its restored natural state. The sun's setting flames spread across the gentle wisps of clouds, reminding him of an old friend. The friend he owes his smile to. The last time they spoke, she said she would make sure the endless night had an end, and that it would never come again. Big Blue had obviously asked her how she intended to do that. After all around her had been veiled from him and kept vague, but she never truly answered him. Big Blue was only left to trust her and to help however he could. He understood her story continued, or that it branched out after a certain moment, and so, just as he enjoyed doing so much, he had to wait for all of it to unfold before knowing the ending. It was even better in his friend's case. See, for all stories, Big Blue could see their potential branches, their assumed endings, or even possible additional chapters. In witnessing these, his interest lied in the choice the characters would make, not necessarily the outcome. But for his friend's story, he had no idea of the possibilities, only the ones he himself, without his new power, could imagine, and even then it was hard. Then what ended up happening was an incredible moment that Big Blue would cherish. for he had learned a lot from it. Big Blue smiled even harder as he reminisced about that grand finale. It was truly a valorous ending of his friend's chapter, and he was glad to know that there would be more to the story. It didn't feel like it had ended, and a lot of it was obscured from his sight. Danger loomed in the far horizon, but that is always present in his favorite stories. Perhaps one day he could contribute to this beautiful tale himself and honor his friend's legacy. And that's it.
All right. I think Emily's head is hurting right now, like heavily.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what you find in the book. That could potentially be helpful. Now, the way in which this is helpful...
I don't know. I don't know.
That will depend on you guys.
Damn.
Do you want a few moments to absorb before we continue?
Missy.
She's like, I'm already working on it.
So he said that he one day wants to contribute to her story, right? So there's a possibility, we don't know, that he is still alive, Big Blue, and he can help us.
Let's go look for
I mean,
Big
it's
Blue.
a
That's the new-
storybook. It doesn't mean it's
That's
real.
the adventure. That's the adventure that we always had and we never knew.
We're gonna get the crown, and then we're gonna see all the timelines, and then we can save Scum, and
Don't put it on.
Yeah.
You unlock saves coming.
We're gonna consume the
Okay.
worm juice to see the past and the future.
This is Mizzy talking. Mizzy knows that there are two people that know where Big Blue is. That we will reach them, which is Aiden and Wylie. So Wylie knows where he is. Well, I don't
Mizzy
know if
knows
she.
this. Yeah.
Don't they forget? Wasn't that the thing?
Yeah, usually people forget when they leave, but I don't. Well, I don't know. I didn't see how it ended, that part, but I don't think Aiden and Wylie forgot. But
I
they
guess
might.
we'll
I don't know.
find them and ask
There-
them.
there is one. Okay, I will give you guys a clue. Okay, this is going to be a dungeon master moment of all of these one shots where you guys have been, that you guys have watched, and all the shit. I will give you guys one clue from one thing that Mizzy said. People usually forget when they leave.
people.
People.
People. People.
Is Wylie people?
No, she's person.
You have to ask her dog.
Does Wylie have a pet?
Think.
Can anyone talk to animals?
Wait, maybe Wylie is not a person.
He just said Wylie's a person.
I just said it, yeah.
No, but maybe she's something else.
I mean,
And
sure.
disguised as
Wow.
a person.
She could be
Yeah.
How
something else.
dehumanizing of you.
Just go up to Agnar. What is Wylie?
I can't say anything else. This was.
But Agnar can.
Well, yeah, but you know, Mizzy has access to this information, but Violet does not.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
No.
I was just commenting.
I know.
commentating.
It's what's the name of the mouse? The other mouse from the
Dicky
one shot?
Mouse?
Dicky
Mickey
Mouse.
Mouse.
He
He
knows.
knows.
It's
I
full
don't
circle.
know.
Full circle.
They took Dicky Mouse in there. They remember, oh, Mash Stack and his obsession over that mouse. Maybe this is the key.
Hey, Mashtak is a cat and we've never seen
Was.
him again.
He's
Was.
dead. He's dead.
Was.
Hey, what? I haven't seen him die on screen yet.
Yeah, right. He died off screen. I mean, we could obviously do a
It's
one
a
shot where
Marvel
we
moment if you-
roleplay. We'll roleplay your death if you want to.
This is a TV show, and in TV shows, when a character doesn't die on screen, it's because they're coming back later. That's how it works.
Possible.
Maybe
Oh, yeah.
maybe D's knows.
D could know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Busy was
we
about
don't
to ask
know.
it.
I heard her say maybe these nuts.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. I was so confused.
Yeah,
That
maybe
one
these nuts
shot-
know as well.
Yeah, well, D could know. You know, right?
D and
Yeah.
his nuts, yeah.
We don't know him, so.
Who's
But
D?
people that haven't watched the one shot, like, what the fuck are they talking about?
This was like ages ago.
Yeah,
it was like the little squirrel that
Yeah.
went with
Oh,
Eliza.
those, yeah.
And then
okay.
Yeah,
got
that's
like the powers at the end, and he became like super OP. And,
And
then
then-
we found him eventually.
In Fall of
and-
Pelandan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where D was the squirrel that touched Durandar Blackhorn's dying body and turned him into Thornwing.
I have no recollection of that. Damn.
I
Since
deleted
he's a
from her
squirrel, and right now
Mhm.
he's like very special. You might know. He
Who
squirrels
knows?
around trying to find more nuts.
Oh damn.
Yeah, that one shot was
Shit.
entirely built off of the D's nuts joke. You guys
Yeah.
had to search for D's nuts.
Oh
And you found them.
gosh.
That was a long ass time ago.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Moving on.
moving on.
I
This
think. Yeah.
this was what you learned, Emily,
Mhm.
from the book. Now, you once again, this is what I can tell you guys is that this is helpful. Now, the way in which it is helpful, it's either something that you guys will figure it out, or is something that will become relevant in the future. You know, who knows? But that is the one thing about this book. It's that it is a children's book, and therefore there are no like rituals or techniques that you can use to defeat the Weaver. You know, that isn't
Come on,
there.
Big Blue. I thought we were
Yeah,
friends.
what I if I remember correctly, I think what I asked was if I could find any parallel between like
Yeah.
what
This-
has happened and
Exactly. And
yeah,
this
in the
is
book.
where you found it. It's this
Yeah.
section. Because, I mean, this is not the first time that you've noticed that there are things, be it because it is a children's book or be it the author's choice, there are things that aren't exactly the same and there are things that are omitted, such as the name of the first son that you know it's him. His name is not mentioned, and it is one of the only ones where there isn't like a made-up name for him. Name's just not mentioned at all. So this specific section of The Endless Night, the focus of the author in turning towards Big Blue, doing all these menial tasks to help his friends survive the Endless Night, seems to be, especially in your eyes, which you are, you know, yourself a storyteller, it seems to be very intentional that they are hiding whatever happened during that moment instead of going to it. And in fact, they hide the importance of it in this later chapter that I described to you, which means they knew that at some point someone would notice it, but it would only make sense to whoever already knew something of this event. Otherwise, it would just be a story. And so you can see now in this last chapter that parallel of Big Blue's friend. I would assume you can figure out who that is. But that parallel is established only here, and not in the specific section that describes the entirety of the Endless Night.
Mm.
All right, so 7 days of travel across the jungle and desert next to the river that flows out from the elemental plane of water's rift that you left behind next to the Grand Arcanist's tower. In these 7 days, other than this, anything else that you guys would want to accomplish, things you want to ask to Agnar, go
Yes.
right ahead. This would be the moment.
Okay. Agnar.
Violet.
We know the Cinder Sky sacrificed herself with the help of the primordial gods. But were the other gods present? Did they exist already?
No. This was pre-Age of Ascension.
Pre-gods. Okay. And
It's Violet has a little notebook. Okay, pre-gods.
and so well, the Embrace worships the mother. Is the Cinder Sky considered a goddess?
Well, on my side of the family, definitely not. She is just the mother of our family.
Like literal mother.
Exactly, literal
Okay.
mother.
And I would assume when we captured Aiden, he said that we doomed this world. So he already knew the burden he carries.
Indeed. I will.
In that case,
Yes, sorry.
why did he allow himself to be discovered by us?
That is a question I've been asking myself for these past few days. However, this is in part my fault. My son, well, maybe his mother's fault, to be fair. My son does have quite the flair for the dramatic.
I did see that.
So he chooses to sacrifice the world for the dramatics of it?
I doubt that. My son has a great sense of duty that I recognize in him, that I recognize in all of our family. If he did this, which I do not mean as an offense to you, I do think he allowed himself to be captured. If that is the case, then there must have been some plan that I was not aware of that he had, but he never spoke to me about any of these things. I haven't spoke with him in months. Maybe Wylie would know. They were always plotting and planning things.
I see. I have no more questions.
Over the time that you were not speaking to him, did you try to contact him? Or was it just silence?
I never did try to contact him. My son would only come to me if it was absolutely necessary. It is important that after a while, I separate myself from him. He is the one to whom the power has been passed. Although it always lurks within each of us for a time, we must pass it on after a while, or well, it passes on pretty much by itself. That is how our family works. And from that moment on, he separates himself from me because he has to. Because I am in a way now a liability. There might be many people in the world that think that I am dead, or that think that his mother is dead as well. But we're not. But we are separate, each of us, because it must be so.
You are separate from your wife as well?
I am.
And who is she?
I've told you this. That is none of your business. I just told you that we're separate to protect each other, and now you want to know her name.
Yes.
That wouldn't be.
I mean, at least we know she's still alive.
And she is. I would know if she had died. And she is pretty tough.
We fought him. I understand.
Aiden is a much better warrior than I ever was.
Okay. Are we all done with questions?
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Very well, let's resume our travels in silence.
Gonna make it awkward.
We're all thinking. I mean, the world is dying.
Violet's gonna be
so-
like trying to ruffle through his things at night to see if he can find any clues about who his wife is.
All right, so over the course of the next 7 days, you travel relatively peacefully. Although, for both Haj'Draal and Vesper, there are moments that break this peace. Even next to Agnar, next to whom you feel safer, you feel farther away from your current insanity, as I would like to remind everyone watching that Haj'Draal currently possesses 2 points of insanity, and Vesper 1. Your current insanity doesn't ever allow you to fully rest during the nights. It doesn't ever allow you to find total silence during these travels. It's to a point where it's hard. It's something you've been dealing with this whole trip, but now enhanced. And I don't want to repeat myself too much, but it is, in an odd way, empowering as well. Because you realize that there's this source of darkness inside you. Darkness in the sense of horror, of fear, not something that is or would be in your view right now just completely evil, but something that is more natural. This horror of losing folks, this horror of failing in your tasks, this horror of being or of asking yourself if you are in the right place. It comes from within you naturally, and there's a source of power in that, but still unsettling. So after the 7 days, you move into the sort of surrounding larger dunes and rocky dunes that are south or southeast of Oaza, the capital city of the empire. You had to cross the river in kind of a wooden bridge that sits kind of towards the end of the last canal through where the river passes and flows into the city. And you notice that the gates are closed. Not only are the gates closed, but your keen eyes, I won't make you roll for this specific part, notice that there are currently troops stationed outside of the city, and on the walls there is a large force of Vitromancers. It seems that news of what happened has already come to the city, and they are at war, first of all. The Empire is, and so they are now in full alert, and there's a huge line of people that are trying to get into the city that are not making it into the city. Agnar will obviously suggest that you just go around the city, avoid getting inside of it, since the station where, or small settlement, let's say, almost like a park, where Nesli and her sandcutter where you left them, is further out from the city, about an hour or so out from the city. And so he will guide you there because he knows this place pretty well, apparently. Rangers. And as you reach this settlement, about an hour or so, we're talking morning time, scorching heat here in the desert. Vesper's skin getting really dry because she's a lizard. You
Somebody spray me.
has to be Haj'Draal using his spells, his water spells to just spray you. As you reach this settlement, you climb, or you go on one of the lifts, one of the elevators that takes you to. As I would like to remind you, these settlements are usually kind of built on large, kind of rocky structures that come out of the desert that usually have a cliffside to launch the sandcutters, these ships that kind of cut through the desert. And so you have to get on the lift to go to the top of the settlement. But as you are moving to that lift, there are Empire guards by it.
Oh, shit.
The lift is on this side of the... There are two lifts. There's one that is on the side of the desert, where all of the cutters are parked and where they are launched from. And then there's this other lift that is on the city side, which is where people go to the settlement to get into the sand cutters and where people descend from. So you guys are on city side, and the lift there seems to have 4 Empire guards searching through people as they're moving up.
Well, we need to go, so
Mhm.
should we?
Can Agnar, rub some shoulders for us?
Agnar was actually going to ask you, when you were making your escape, were you seen?
It's possible.
We were seen by a floating lady that was shining like the sun. But she
You-
let us go.
You were seen by the Empress.
Well, that's the Empress.
Probably, yeah.
Mhm.
And she
But
let
she
you go.
asked us. Yeah, she asked us
Yeah.
if we were against this world or with the world. Something
We said
like
with.
that.
We said with.
Yeah,
So we're okay.
we said with, and she let us go.
This could still be problematic. Well, let's just go and see what happens.
We'll let you do the talking.
Well, I wouldn't trust me with that. And he begins leading. Let's see if the Dragon's Bane family is known for their talking too.
Oh, no.
You approach the guards at the lift, and one of them immediately halts you, and they move to speak to Agnar, which is in front of all of you, and they go, "Good morning. Are you leaving the city? You using the cutter system here to get anywhere deeper in the Empire? If that is the case, we're going to need to know where it is you are going." And Agnar goes, yes, we're leaving the city. I'm sorry, I'm just a bit confused. Old age. We're leaving the Empire altogether. Right, so if you're leaving the Empire, this might come as to no surprise. We need to search you and guarantee that you do not have any information, any sort of document that might be useful to our enemy, as we are at war, and we were just attacked a few days ago, about a week. So, would you allow us to search you? He looks.
Have anything?
He looks at all of you to see to look for a sign.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
I think we're good.
I don't know if we have anything. I can't remember.
We have like the Vitromancing, like the bracers.
All right.
That's in the bag of holding, though, right?
Yeah, like
Do they know what a bag of holding is? Because the bag of holding is it is a small thing, but it expands.
but you
Is
have
it
to
common
like
knowledge?
You have to call on for the item, right, to remove it.
But if you turn it inside out, it
Ah,
drops
yeah,
all
it just
items.
That might be bad. That might be bad.
It's fine. We'll just say we found it.
Just
It's ours now.
pretend that you're ticklish, you know, and you just start laughing
That
or you
was there
start
when we
flirting
got
with
the
them.
bag. We didn't know it was in there.
It's a goodie.
We found it along the way, or
Agnar is going to say, sure, go right ahead. The men are going to begin searching you. Okay,
I'm
so
already scared.
they begin taking out all of your gear. They begin patting you down, looking into all your pouches. They find, well, actually it depends. Violet, where would the permit that you got when you walked in, where would it be?
Oh, probably in one of the normal bags.
All right, they find that and they see, oh, so you had only recently come to the Empire, and it seems that you were cleared even to enter the city. All right, although your arrival does match the timeline. And they give you a suspicious look. I am going to need to overturn that. The magical bag you hold.
Shit.
Yeah, sure.
Do you just give it to them?
Yes.
Throw it.
Throw it into the
cliff.
desert and then run.
Yeah.
I will try to look
No.
as calm as possible.
That you're giving like the bag of holding, right?
He's asking for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. While
One
you're
of you
trying to
better-
give, I'll just like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm a bit shy. We have some private lady stuff inside. I don't think you want to see it. We've been traveling a lot, and me as a grown woman, I need to have my stuff there. So can you please now look? I'm very embarrassed. Please don't look.
Roll a persuasion check.
Oh my god.
This is a very high DC. Okay.
32. Hell yeah, Bard!
You gotta give it to
Bards!
plus 14. What the fuck? That should be illegal. Plus 14.
That is,
Fucking bards.
well, this is just a regular dude, right? He's just trying to do his job.
I don't care.
He's gonna go. Is there anything of danger there besides the weapons you carry?
I will just take out some chalices. Well, we have this to sell because we were on business, as you said as you read on the things we sell and buy stuff. Just regular gold that we find.
You see, he's blushing
Trade.
while looking at Emily. Like, all right. Well, you do have your permit. If you are leaving, whereabouts are you leaving? And Agnar goes, we intend to go to the wildlands. You clearly see he's very uncomfortable lying. The guards give him kind of a narrow look. Right, it would make sense. There are tons of things to get there to sell if you are the type of adventuring merchant.
And beasts to kill.
Then that too. You're allowed to go, but please be careful, and maybe keep your lady things in less suspicious places, as in a magical bag.
Like what? And I wink.
He's visibly getting redder, and his friend just places his hand on the dude's shoulder and goes, "Please take the lift." And
Thank you.
The guy is kind of just holding his spear and starting to sweat.
You see Haj'Draal just like...
You climb atop the settlement. As you climb up on the elevator, just kind of a wooden mechanism, and you arrive at the top of this rocky structure where there are buildings and tents, even kind of spread around. It is quite a big space. It's not exactly like a village, right? But it is like a smattering of houses up here. There are Vitromancers walking about. And they are watching. They are on the rooftops. They are looking at you. You see one of them kind of flying about 25 feet up in the air on top of this kind of glass shard.
Like that?
Yeah, on top of like a glass shard that looks kind of like a sword made of actual stained glass of multiple colors. And they're just like flying on top of it and looking down at people passing. One such Vitromancer on the rooftop seems to take a notice of you and begins tracing you with his eyes as you head for the air docks where the sandcutters are. He accompanies you through the rooftops, and you see as he jumps from rooftop to rooftop, glass shards kind of make a pathway for him to walk as he harnesses them, back and forth to make platforms for him. And he just keeps kind of following you and looking at you.
Is he noticeable? Easily noticeable for us?
You can see him easily. He's not really hiding it. You remember now that you left a Vitromancer, not dead, behind.
He didn't see us though, right? He was KO'd.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh fuck. That was a one shot.
Yeah.
Let's see. But he's walking beside you, or above you on the rooftops. What do you guys do? Just keep moving?
Try to find
let's-
Nesli as fast as possible.
Fast, but like smooth.
Not suspiciously fast.
And all like, we're villains. Oh no.
We're not villains. We can calm down. We didn't do anything wrong. We tried to save her.
I'm gonna go ahead and ask you to roll deception check as a group. So each one of you roll deception check for me.
Deception 16.
18.
8.
3.
Holy shit!
I don't know how. That's crazy.
Agnar rolled a natural 19.
Oh damn!
So he might be
Good
the
job, Agnar.
he might be
Carry.
might be the tiebreaker, even though he just only has a regular +1 to his charisma. It's still a
Yeah,
dirty
that's what I
20.
have as well.
Or you continue walking, you approach the docks. The guy is watching you, and he seems to be curious, but maybe it's just because you're a group of, well-armored individuals, weapons, walking about here. But there seemed to, like, in the moment he noticed you, there seemed to be, like, some fuck, how do you say it? The cogwheels were kind of moving, and you could see him trying to, you could see him trying to put things together, but your nonchalant walk through this place kind of helped diffuse some of that suspicion. So you approach the docks, and sure enough, docked on one of these air docks, there is a sand cutter with flames painted on the side.
Poor girl.
And sitting kind of on top of a crate on the dock on which it is kind of affixed to Nesli, with her scarf kind of covering half her face, and her like dreaded hair still looks weird and then all dirty, and then and her goggles like lifted up, and she seems to just be very bored looking at the wood boards of the dock.
Hey,
Poor
Nesli.
Nesli.
Oh, it's you again! You're traveling?
Yes, we are. With you.
Oh, thank the Lord. Nobody's done business with me. Not ever since Fireball II. Got that accident just a week ago.
Are we on the 3rd?
We are on the 5th.
Oh my god.
Yeah, 4th was a failure, and 3rd was a failure. It was strange, actually. One of them, well, it didn't exactly burst into flames. It more was set into flames because I annoyed some people here. Then I did some traveling around the place with 4th, and, well, sometimes tourists get a little bit too eager, and they fall overboard, and I have to maneuver, do, you know, tough things to get them back, or else I lose my reputation. And, well, I did get them back, but the 4th was, they took a little bit of a beating, and so here we are, the 5th. I built them pretty fast, as you can see. That's because Nesli provides top quality service.
And perhaps built them more spacious this time as well.
Not at all.
Have you
Excellent.
traveled with the 5th, or is it going to be the 1st?
Right, so here's the wonderful thing. This model is the fastest because it's the 5th, and usually the bigger the number, the faster the vehicle or vessel in this case. I'm sorry, I got the terms mixed up. Must have been because I hit my head during that trip with the 4th. But I am ready to show you the true power of sandcutters in this cutting edge model that is Fireball the 5th. I've installed personally, as you can see, and she points out to the back of the sandcutter, arcane turbo engines.
You didn't answer my question, though.
What is
Is
there
it
to
first?
answer?
Is it your first journey with this one?
Okay, no.
Oh boy. Well, we don't
How
have
much?
to open one.
Right, so see,
Fastest.
regarding the price, well, how can I put this? I consider you my friend. You've traveled with me once. You were satisfied customers. So, I spent all my money on the turbo engine. So, I am, as of now, about to declare bankruptcy. So, I'm not one to beg for money. But I'm not going to exactly put a price on the trip because I trust that you know my quality and my job and how wonderful just everything and safe just everything is. So you just pay me wherever you want.
How much did we pay her last time? Remember?
I think it was 1 gold each.
Yeah, it was 1 gold each. It's very cheap for you
That
guys.
was very cheap.
For you guys, yeah.
Let's pay it relatively to the quality of the trip. How does that sound?
What if I will do a counter offer? The quality of the trip will improve depending on your payment.
I'll just give her 10 gold. Will this be enough?
Right, that's almost double what you gave me last time. I thought you had more money. I guess you're poor. Thank you. And
I am poor.
she places it on her back. All right, all aboard Fireball the 5th. Let us hope this is the last Fireball.
I go to her and I give her a gold piece on her hand.
Sure.
So like, he's a little bit more, and then I go sit down.
Oh, thank you. She pockets it. Places her goggles on her eyes. All aboard Fireball the 5th. I see you bring a new companion. Agnar is kind of silently walking inside the ship. My name is Agnar. It's a pleasure to meet you. Right, Agnar! My name is Nesli. I would like to remind you of the safety instructions that we have here on the Fireball the 5th. I usually have them on all Fireballs, but now I have an additional one measure here on Fireball the 5th. That is, if someone falls overboard, I will not go after them. Unless it is absolutely necessary, because last time that was terrible, and I would like to maintain the Fireball the 5th's integrity. So that is a new rule. As for safety measures, honestly, I repeat them every time. They never work. So you just figure it out by yourselves, and we'll be there in no time. Is that alright for everyone?
Did we tell her where we're going?
Right!
No.
Where exactly are we going?
Agnar?
We need to make it to the edge of the Elderroot Forest. We are making for Nad'ar. Oh! Right, so... if that is your destination, there is an additional little detail that I should tell you of. There are no sandcutter docks nearby, which means that whenever you guys exit Fireball the 5th, you will have to jump out of it.
Tuck and
Yahoo!
roll.
Well, actually, I would recommend a belly flop. That is much more fun for me.
Take that advice.
Hmm.
And I won't do it.
Yeah, well, no one ever does, unless it's an accident. Quote unquote.
Oh, Nesli.
Alright, everybody ready?
Jesus.
Oh, the gods won't save you on this one.
Haj'Draal kind
Let's
of
go.
squints at her.
It won't save you.
Oh, you guys have gotten scarier since last time.
A lot has happened.
And I'm sorry. I didn't mean to... Well, I'm sorry.
Apologies accepted. Let's move on.
Alright.
Let's go!
We're
And
Can
I,
we go now?
and I rock out again.
Oh, God.
She pulls on the lever and Fireball the 3rd, or the 5th, excuse me,
The 5th.
dives down into the cliffside, and she pulls the other lever, extending out its glider wings as you begin gliding towards the desert, and she then turns the sandcutter towards the northeast. There we go. I have to see the map in my head. So, the journey will begin now, which means it's travel table time. Now, there are going to be 3 days of travel here, okay? And you will arrive at night of the last day. So, since there's going to be a travel table, and it is only 3 days, this travel table is shorter, and most of the options that you're going to have, just for full disclosure, are more related to, events that can happen, whether it be within yourselves or out in the world. But there is obviously still a chance for combat, or this wouldn't be fucking Requiem, brothers and sisters.
By the way,
yeah.
During our trip, like shortly after we start, let's say about 30 minutes, Haj'Draal will he'll be on his corner as he's been lately. And amidst this, as he has his eyes closed, he'll grab his pendant, and he will cast Aid at level 3 on Violet, Vesper, and Emily, which will increase your maximum hit points by 10
All right, very well.
For how long?
for 8 hours.
Sick. I would say that if you want to do that, Haj'Draal, you can do that every day. Like, if you want to do that,
basically.
you can do that every day. So whenever it runs out, you can just do it again, because you're going to be resting too. So,
Sí, por favor.
so the travel on Sandcutter, as you guys know, it is a pretty narrow ship, so you guys are pretty tight. And at night, Nesli will still go on, because she doesn't need sleep. She's only fucking, I don't know what drug she's on, but it must be the spice from the desert. So she's gonna continue going during the night, but you guys will have to arrange sort of a tent in the middle of the sand cutter so that you all can sleep, or else you will be sanded in the face during your travels. So 3 rolls. So one of you sadly won't roll. I'm so sorry for that. I'm gonna need whoever is the first to roll a d4 for me. Who's gonna go
Who
first?
is the first?
Not it.
Not it.
I'm okay with not rolling, by the way.
I'm okay with not rolling as well.
I'm okay with rolling.
Then you do it,
Do it.
Nick.
Roll then.
Let's do it. So 1d20?
1d4.
1d4.
1d4. 1d4.
Okay, here goes nothing. 1. Okay.
Wow.
Oh,
That is actually strangely perfect, Haj'Draal, to how you have been feeling. You all die. You all gain 5 insanity points and you die. You're part of the Weaver, it's over.
Oh, so that's what happened.
Ooh, oh my god. Alright.
Spoilers.
During this first day, is there anything the group would like to accomplish? Any conversation they would like to have? Once again, Agnar is there as well, if there's anything. Alright. Violet?
I would. Do I sense Haj'Draal strange with the insanity? Is it sensible?
I'll ask you this. Have you noticed any difference in the way he speaks thus far?
I noticed that he was a little bit more rude,
Snappier, right?
snappy,
Yeah.
a little bit like he responds and reacts
Then I will say
like a teenager.
I'll do one thing as well to help you as well. I assume Violet will is good like notices these types of things since she's been traveling with Haj'Draal for so long and the rest of the group.
yeah.
Even in his like, I don't know, his body language, he also seems slightly more aggressive. Like he doesn't seem as composed as he usually was. He seems more, as you said, more snappy and more unsettled, more aggressive.
Then yeah, Violet. I mean, if you've noticed it thus far through the way that he's been speaking, I would say you noticed that, yes.
Okay, I will sit beside him and I'll say, I know you and me, at first we didn't start well, and the last few days we had our beefs. I know that. And I want to say, I am sorry, you've been through a lot. We all have been through a lot. But besides that, I want you to know, even though you get to my nerves sometimes, I'm here for you. For all of you. And whatever you're going through, you are not going through this alone. So if you want to talk, you can talk.
This whole time, Haj'Draal is he's still with his eyes closed. He's listening to Violet, but he's still with his eyes closed. After a slight pause, he replies and says, "Yeah, Violet, I think you're onto something there, but we'll see. I suppose this is meant to be after all. Everything is always meant to be on my path, it seems. Everything predestined. Maybe for the better, maybe for the worse."
In your path, and I think all of our paths, everything is meant to be. And now more than ever, I think we need to rely on each other. And not take everything to yourself.
Thank you, Violet. I'll take that into account.
Can we walk?
Yeah, you can.
During this-
It's not like a very spacious ship, right? It is about. If you'll let me just check. It is about it's about like 55 feet like long, but it is very narrow. So you can walk, but you know it's not as open as other ships.
Yeah, that's fine. So I would say that I was listening to this conversation, and Emily just goes like to Haj, "Do you know what else is predetermined and destined?"
Haj'Draal looks at her, noticeably in a different way that he usually looks at her, but he asks, "What, Emily?"
She says, "This hug," and she hugs.
Aw.
I was waiting for these nuts.
Same. I was waiting for these nuts too.
Gosh.
But that was a lot better.
While she hugs him, I'll say, well, if you let a little steam go off, maybe you'll become a little bit more bearable. And in a funny, not an attacking
Violet
way.
is such a bitch, man.
I am. I know.
I'll say
That's
Haj gets taken aback by Emily's hug. He'll kind of flinch for a minute as she's hugging him, but he'll eventually settle. He'll loosen up a little, and he'll like put his hand on Emily's head, like patting it,
Aw.
and he'll say,
That's so cute.
"Thank you, Emily."
Well done.
Now let him go.
Vesper
Right.
just watches this. She kind of sits back and smiles just a little bit, but not involving herself because she's kind of got like a thought in her head that maybe she doesn't really need to belong here or she shouldn't be here right now. Still after everything that happened in the tower.
All right.
After this, after Emily lets go, Haj'Draal he'll take a glimpse at Violet, like taking a look around him, and eventually his eyes meet up with Vesper, and then he remembers the state that they're in, and he starts feeling a little bit worried once again.
I'm gonna grab onto that, if you guys don't mind. I will say, for you guys to kind of be more gathered in this moment, that we're reaching the night, or it's just been nightfall, but you guys haven't set up your tent yet. And this night is seemingly darker than all others. The moon is very close to being full. The cutter drifts in the sands, and the desert is just laid before you, seemingly infinite. But for you two, specifically, I would say to an extent, all of you, but specifically you two, there is no peace in that. There's no silence in your minds. Even after this conversation, Vesper, you feel jittery, nervous, and you grasp your staff as hard as you can, and in that moment where you and Haj'Draal lock eyes, you notice that he's doing the same. Despite this hug, despite even just allowing himself to let go for a moment, that moment where you, in this instance where you lock eyes, he is back on that. And he seems to be worse than you are, in a way. The Grand Arcanist was taken, Grime is dead, these thoughts come back to you, and then more is added to those thoughts. You grasp, or excuse me, you understand that this all had an origin, like a point in your life from where this has bloomed. And although you would love to think that it was when you fought that terrible man or creature, whatever it is, you can't help but just go further and further back into your memory. And you notice those little things where this doubt, where this these moments where your will was weakened and you let that horror set inside you, they have traumatized you and they have made you who you are, in a way. You see now that at the very essence of who people are, there is trauma, a defining moment that most times isn't good. You think to more recent times, to the people who died in that ice storm. They were imprisoning you, Haj'Draal, and your group, sure. But were they really deserving of death? The people who died when you were infiltrating the tower? At Grimes' hands, but in front of all of you. And then all the people that die in someone else's war. You can't help but see how imperfect everything is, how terribly flawed. You don't feel free. You feel chained. Chained to protect the people you love. Chained to live through this although you had no say in it. Chained to witnessing yourselves fail at all of those things. That woman that visited you last time you were on this cutter, her question rings again in both of your minds in perfect synchrony, and you see it in each other's eyes. Why do you live? Is it to fulfill someone else's prophecy now? To defend a world that will eat itself alive on the first chance? You look at Omar's gift, wondering if it's malfunctioning, if you're not being protected from these thoughts that surely mustn't be your own. You were so confident. But that's not it. I want now to go to each of you individually. Both of you have that point of insanity in Haj'Draal's case too. And I would like to know how each of you are trying to fight it. But what I also want to know is exactly what flaw, what kink is there in your armor that makes this fight so difficult. Let's go with Vesper first.
So Vesper is struggling very hard with this, especially after losing Grime. But she is trying to focus on the promise she made to G, and knowing that Ketri is in danger now, that she's being held by Gogi and his goons.
Gogi and the goons. The Go-goons.
Gogi and the goons. And she knows, Ketri's important to her too. They were, that was Velox Mors, that was her family. But she knows how important Ketri is to Violet. And she doesn't, there's a drive in her that she feels like, for Violet's sake, because she does care about Violet so much, that she has to get Ketri back. And she has to make sure Ketri is safe too, for Violet. And then she also has to make it back home to G, who's waiting with baby number 2. Apparently that, you just collect children when you go on adventures.
Interesting.
And then as for what is making it so difficult for her is the fact that she feels like there have been so many moments where she hasn't been strong enough, where she couldn't break her and Violet out of the scale whale's mouth, where she was being held by Grime and she couldn't say anything to the party as Grime was saying it was her life or the Arcanist, when she would have given her life for that, but she couldn't say it. And then the guilt that she feels because they chose her over the Arcanist, and without knowing the truth of the matter or what was happening. So she feels like she was not strong enough to fight that off. So she just feels overall too weak to do the things that she wants to.
I understand. And I will grab onto that. That feeling of weakness. You have something within you that you can harness that will make you stronger. It is tempting. And it is ever the more tempting the more you think about that one moment with Grime. The moment in the top of the tower. It will be increasingly tempted. Excuse me, you will be increasingly tempted to use it the more you think about that. And it is in that moment that you understand. I will tell you this, Vesper, but you will either interpret it or you will accept it in whichever way you like. But I would say that with what you have just mentioned, Vesper, you truly understand now what that woman meant. And you truly understand now what the people that have hurt you so far are fighting for. And the question is starting to loom in your head. Are we on the right side? Now, whether you reject that question, you accept that question, right? Or you do whatever you want with it, totally up to you. But it is now starting to approach you. You sense it coming into your mind from still far away, but there. I will go to Haj'Draal now. How are you trying to fight this threat of insanity? And what flaw is there in you right now that is stopping you from doing it effectively?
So Haj'Draal, with his turbulence in his mind, the key aspect here is faith. It's both the thing that is keeping him roped into what his beliefs, his reality, so to say, his true self, but it's also the exact same thing that's pushing him away from that same goal. Because as always, he feels that he needs to accomplish the divine ways that have been that he has been tasked with of the following Dalgar's message of establishing, at the end of the day, following peace, the ways of the sea, and he starts to think about this in another angle. At the end of the day, he did get gifted, get blessed with this destructive power. And this destructive power is exactly what brought the demise of those guards, of those innocent guards in his mind earlier. And to maintain peace, there's a reason that that happened, that he got those powers, that he killed those people with the destructive powers that he innately has. And it rings on him the exact same thing that he told Violet. Maybe they deserved it. They were on the wrong side. And at the end of the day, he still intends on following his god's footsteps. But it starts to seem that maybe it's not in the way that he once thought. He's blindly following it. He's grasping onto it, trying to maintain his sanity, trying to ground himself with his faith. But at the same time, it's his faith that is misleading him into a path that seems more apathetic, more cruel, and maybe even to the wrong side that he once considered, so to say.
It is indeed kind of a complex issue. To be given this power, to be tasked with the mission of helping people, but still being able or being capable of such destruction. Now that you understand or a little bit better, the makings of this world and the war that is happening, you can't help but have this sense in yourself that you could be something akin to a tool. You can't help but feel that you are giving this faith, right? And you are being given this power on the condition that you continue fulfilling on this mission of yours. So at what moment would you turn and consider yourself a tool? It is difficult to quite understand that at this moment, because there is a memory in you, the miracle you performed, in which you felt it was you, that it wasn't just your God bestowing you all of this power, it was you that made the choice. It was you who beckoned Dalgar to give you that ability, and he did because he trusted you. But that memory, however recent, doesn't seem as impactful, for whatever reason, as your current failures. And so, could it have been just an illusion? Could Dalgar just have been giving you that power to keep you on his leash? Because you mentioned that this power was innate to you, but it really wasn't, was it? It was a specific moment that made you become faithful. A specific trauma followed by a specific event that appeared to be an accident. And then that caused you to become faithful. That caused you to start praying and gaining these powers. It felt like you were chosen, but it wasn't quite innate to you. But there is one thing that is. It's that horror. Those moments that are truly yours, they are not of any god. Those moments, that horror that is innate to you, there is innate power that you can create. There is a chain binding you to your God. And as you remember that woman's words, you are starting to consider if that chain is worth keeping. And you notice an additional thing. Your thoughts. They translate into the way that you behave, and they translate into the way that you believe. However, to some extent, you can hide them from your God. He doesn't have access to all that you think, although you feel he has access to all that you believe in. And so, a question creeps up into your mind. How long will it be until what you're thinking now begins to translate too strongly into your beliefs, and your God either calls judgment upon you or removes your powers entirely? It is something to consider, but this innate strength you have of harnessing that horror, that trauma, those doubts, that can never be taken away from you. That is yours entirely. It begins in you, and it will end in you if you so desire. So, that was the first day of travel.
Fun.
Very nice.
I have learned.
Mama.
I have learned quite a bit, and although this doesn't seem like a relevant event, it is in my mind. All right, second day of travel. Who wants to roll?
Fuck it, I'll do it.
Let's go. D4.
D4?
Yeah.
2.
A 2. Oh my. So in the second day, is there anything else that you beautiful gentlemen or gentlemen and ladies want to do?
Second day, I'm casting 8 again, so still with the 10 points.
Just in
He's going to
case.
say this every day now.
Just to make sure we know we have.
So.
Oh wait, I just want to say I was waiting for everyone to talk. I'll just be around, like ever since what happened with Grime. I haven't really talked much with Vesper because I'm trying to process my things.
Ma shit.
So I'm still doing that, but just for Vesper. Okay, Violet is not really good in expressing her feelings.
We have noticed.
But for Vesper to know that, she's there, she cares about her, she's trying to just be around Vesper and just be next to her, but without talking. Just be with her.
Just being lovingly gay.
Yes.
In the same area.
The kid!
The kid again.
He jumps on top of a Dune Eater!
Vesper will take a moment, like when she's sure no one is like looking in their general direction, and she'll just like take Violet's hand and then just give it a little squeeze.
Before you go, Emily, I just want to say something to both Haj'Draal and Vesper. It does feel like there are two ways out of where you are now. One is through the people around you. The other is whatever is within you, churning right now. Your choices are still your own. For now. Emily.
I wanna... Ooh, alright, fuck it. I wanna go to... to, Vesper.
Uh-oh.
And give her, one of my, like, egg shakers.
Okay.
And then I go to Haj'Draal, and I give him the, like, that
Yeah.
instrument, yeah.
The
Whatever, yeah, whatever name it has in this world. And then to Violet, I'm gonna give her like a small like triangle. You know the
yeah, the ping, ping, ping.
yeah.
Useless one. Thanks.
It's not useless, not useless.
Important.
And then I go like with me, and then I start like playing the lute, and I go like this so that everyone plays along and has fun and decompresses a little bit. And I start like spinning around them, like, yeah, no, you.
Okay. One moment, please. First of all, Nesli immediately stomping her foot to the sound.
She's into it.
Yeah. Agnar is just curiously watching. Okay, so Emily, I'm gonna first, before we go to all the members, performance check from you immediately.
Yes. Immediately, let's go. 19.
19 is very important. Okay, now that is, I would say, enough to begin cheering up everyone. Haj'Draal has already made his performance check with a 6.
With a woo?
The woo is coming out like a
He seems a bit unamused by this, a little bit.
just a little bit.
That's why the performance was so low.
But I will go to Violet and Vesper now, both of you. I'm gonna ask, are you fully giving into this, or are you just watching?
There's hesitation. There's a slight amount of hesitation.
I want you guys to consider she rolled a 19.
And
She
I'm like
did.
rolling around you and be like, let's go.
But she'll look at Emily, and I'm assuming she's got her classic smile plastered on her face. She's going to feel that here, some lightness, and she's like, you know what? G would have a blast with this if he was here. Fuck it, I'll ball.
All right. Vesper's playing along, so I'm gonna need a performance check from Vesper.
15 performance 16.
That's pretty good. Vesper's apparently a musician. Violet.
Hidden talent.
You're out of commission, Emily.
Hey, I got a 19.
Yeah, calm down, brother.
Violet will just sigh and just think, yeah, we need this.
All right, performance check.
26.
Well, you're out of commission,
Oh
Emily. No,
my
for real.
god, I'm
She's
fired.
gonna blast out the best triangle solo you've
triangle,
ever
yeah.
heard.
I have
is not a-
+8.
It's not
In
a
the
triangle.
Violet. The Violet.
This is not a triangle, guys. It's a fucking Trinity Force. She's just.
I'm gonna say Emily stops for a second, like super surprised at the solo that's happening, and then she returns in place.
Violet is just like with her eyes closed, just feeling it.
Right, guys. From this fantastic performance from all of you, but a little failure over on Haj'Draal. Everyone except Haj'Draal will get 15 temporary hit points.
Ooh.
Haj'Draal, sadly, is not going to.
I
There's-
don't need it.
There's still hesitation in
Haj'Draal.
him. Indeed, you needed this. And Emily, you know that better than anyone. And after this wonderful performance, if you will allow me to manipulate time and say that this was towards the evening and the night, because they are so important in the journey that we are on. Violet. Oh, actually, excuse me. After you guys finish playing Emily, is there anything you want to say or do? For
I
this
do
one?
like a bow. And I'm like,
Nesli is
"Thank you."
Agnar clapping as well. They're both clapping, and Agnar's smiling. And I mean, he's never hid that he's got like a little bit of a fun side next to you guys. But generally, when you've been speaking to him, he has been worried and serious, and you've taken his mind out of all the concerns for this moment.
Oh, good for Agnar.
His son is, parts unknown, and it seems like he is very important to him. And so, after this moment, the ship returns to quiet and to the sounds of the sand drifting. Violet. A 2 has been rolled, so this one's going to be about you.
Uh-oh.
In a moment of quiet in the night, you sense a stirring in your heart. Your daughter has been captured. Your daughter could be in danger. But that's not it. Your fist hurts. It's like the skin in your hand is being pulled tighter and tighter right around that tattoo that you got all that time ago. The mark of your goddess and the mark of vengeance. You look above, and all of you witness this, by the way, so after it, you may react to it if you wish to do so. Or if you find that it has a place in the story that you're telling. You look above, and the night sky flashes in pale blue lightning. That lingers. It lingers for longer than you had ever seen it. Like an aurora that instead of wonder and awe leaves behind uncertainty and darkness. The stars it touches vanish from the sky. There's a pain that hits you deep in the chest, Violet. Screams of thousands of people ringing in your head, the despair of their last moments, doesn't even hold a single prayer. You are attuned to the evil and its presence on this world, filtered through your faith, but also through your own perspective. A primal morality, almost, that tells you what is right and what is wrong, but one that threatens to be too malleable, lest you not hold on to it through the power your goddess gives you. You sense that threat, and that threat almost... It almost directs you towards Vesper and towards Haj'Draal. that threat of the malleability of good and evil. That threat that perhaps, if not given the right structure, similar to the structure your new power gives you, that they might lose sight of it because of what they witnessed. Because this world can break you, and you, Violet, know that better than anyone. This world can break you into thinking the things you're doing are righteous while they are the farthest from it. It is through this power, this new power you've acquired, that you hear those screams. And it's now through that power that you start to sense a powerful evil enveloping the world. You look to the northeast, almost in the direction you're going, although a little bit more to the north. And you see that the lightning that lingers, it comes from that direction, spreading through the sky, from beyond the northeast. All that pain you felt in your chest, that was not yours. That pain that struck your very soul but still rang in your mind. All that horror. It lingers in the world now in a different shape. The evil you fight, Violet, thanks to rolling the 2, has grown. And those people could not be protected, but they can be avenged. The lightning stops. Ketri has been taken. What could be going through her mind at this moment? Would she be begging for her mother to help her, to save her? What suffering could have befallen her? But most importantly, Violet, should they ever come into conflict, what duty must you fulfill? Your duty as a mother, or your duty as the hand of vengeance?
Violet won't answer that question now.
Fair enough. Do you remember, and I'm asking you, Mizzy, as well, do you remember the moment where Violet witnessed that web woven around the world, where a thread touched?
Yeah.
You sense more have now touched. Time is getting short. And thanks to this fantastic 2 that I don't know who rolled, it has run shorter.
Do I sense where?
Northeast.
Where we
Far
are going?
beyond. I would say you may roll a history check for me.
A 4.
You wouldn't know.
Okay.
All right. Night or day number 2. Let's go for number 3. But before that, I'm so sorry. Does any of you do any of you want to react or talk about what you see in the sky?
Is this was while the lightning was striking?
Yeah. It struck for a while. It lingered. You know, very similar to a pale blue aurora.
Can I make like an Arcana or history check or something to try to decipher what that is? Or
I would say you can make an Arcana. Yeah, you specifically can make an Arcana check.
natural 1.
I am incredibly sorry for what I'm about to do.
No.
It's the third one. Yeah.
Haj'Draal.
Oh no.
He's gone.
Oh
You're going to make him go quiet the rest of the campaign.
It's not gonna go quiet. He's gonna start murdering people.
Okay, Haj'Draal, you focus on the sky. You focus on that pale blue lightning. And you're almost drawn to it in a way. The familiarity that you've always had with your power, with your faith, I should say. Not specifically power, but with your faith, that sense of home. It's shifting place. You've gained your third insanity point, as you were looking specifically at an insanity-inducing event and rolled a natural 1.
But do I gather any semblance
Indeed. Your natural
no.
1 does give you an extra thing in this case. Haj'Draal, you know exactly what happened. This feeling that you have inside you, it got bigger. But it didn't just get bigger out of you. It came bigger because your connection to it is also stronger, because in this moment of figuring out, of looking at that darkness, of wondering why you are here, why it is that you live, you sense that one such possible answer to that question has just become more present in this world. In layman's terms, whatever it is you are chasing after, whatever it is you want to stop, has summoned more of itself into the world. And as you look far to the northeast, kind of as a scene from The Lord of the Rings, you see a burning blue eye of lightning staring you down. And in a strange moment that you had never felt before, you hear it. Welcome.
Erner.
Haj'Draal. There will be moments, I'm sorry to you, Mick, there will be moments during this campaign where I will stop you from acting. Is that fine?
Okay.
Is that fine with you?
Yes, that's fine, that's fine.
I will still want you to react to your inability to act. That might give you an action, that might actually reverse that. But for now, with 3 points of insanity, there will be times where you will want to act, and I will stop you from doing it.
God damn. Okay.
Our healer.
He got a freaking miracle happening, and then from that point on, it's just downhill.
Yeah.
This is all Sargon's fault.
He's paying the miracle, dude.
Yeah.
We are.
Oh, shit.
I'll still say this to you guys. He is not too far gone.
We can save him.
He is not yet too far gone. He is, however, very close. Very close.
He's not fucked, just almost.
What if we slap him? We shake him.
Shake him. Come
Come
back to us.
I will also say something, Haj'Draal. This moment is very internal to you. The internal conflict at this moment within you is going to stop you from expressing it to your friends. In fact, you are going to become afraid of specifically talking to your friends. Should you do so, there will be consequences. What can happen is, if your friends approach you and talk to you, it might help heal this state or nullify it for a little moment. But you are unable as of today to go to them and say, hey guys, I think I'm insane.
Oh no! Okay, I get you. I thought you mean I wouldn't be able to speak on anything regarding.
No.
Okay.
No, you're fine. You're fine with that. But
Okay.
your Haj'Draal, and look, it's up to you to interpret how well
no, I get
you
it.
can hide
It's
that.
like, yeah, since I'm going insane, I'm not realizing that I'm going insane. I start thinking that this is the new, I understand you perfectly. What makes
All right,
sense.
there you go.
So if I got this correctly, I looked at it and I I started feeling more approach to it, so to say, and I realized that basically there's more of them coming. Is that it?
Exactly.
Okay.
You have realized that these flashes of lightning that have been going on from like night to night, so far you have witnessed quite a few, are things coming from somewhere else into here. And this time, the lightning lingered. Because you rolled a 2. I love doing this.
So wait, on the vessel, we're sitting down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sitting down,
alright,
looking at the
so-
stars, and that shit happened.
Yeah. Okay. Haj'Draal, will, I mean, I don't know who's gonna be noticing how he's expressing this, but he seems more and more intrigued by what's happening. Like he starts even, I wouldn't say zoning out, but it's like he's focusing on something that couldn't really be focused on. Like it's like, it seems like he's like he's seeing something as he's staring. Like he starts getting more, like I said, more intrigued, more
Curious
more
about,
drawn to
yeah.
this, more than he should be, so to say.
Very well.
He's vehemently observing this, and as his eyes almost begin to grow fascinated by it, almost.
Yes, Emily.
I'm gonna say that since Emily has like a connection to Haj in a way because we're both like spellcasters, and I see him just look at it, but like Emily can't feel anything at all.
Right?
What do you mean? What was that, huh? She's not smart, I know, but she can't feel like any arcana, anything from the sky. She just sees a sky, okay?
Possibly.
She goes to Haj'Draal and she's gonna be like, "Hey, what are you seeing?" And then Emily just stares at the same kind of place, and she tries to stare like really hard.
Yeah. Before I react,
She doesn't blink. She doesn't blink.
Before I react, I wanted to make sure, I don't know if I transmitted correctly, my sentence building skills today are in the shitters. What I meant to transmit is that something looks off about Haj'Draal looking at it. It's like he's like fascinated by what he's looking noticeably, which is very strange. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
What I meant to transmit, which makes sense that Emily noticed it and is now asking what it is. Haj'Draal notices that Emily noticed, and he looks over to her, and he changes his expression, almost of trying to disguise it in a way. And he says, "You know, I haven't seen anything quite like this before. It's honestly kind of beautiful, if I can say it myself, since I am a man of the lightning and all." And he lets out a kind of sarcastic smile in a way, sarcastic huh, in a way.
It is. I agree. It's pretty. And then I go away. She's dumb. I can't do much.
It was funny. Just a while ago, Fish defending Emily's intelligence, and now she's dumb. I'm out.
She used her
Yeah.
one brain cell. Okay, that was it.
After Emily addresses this, and he realizes what he was doing, he starts like taking a more neutral stance, like he's not really letting his emotions show as he's observing this, or trying to at least.
So Violet just sensed that a lot of people died, and I need to avenge them. And then she hears Haj'Draal saying, "Oh, so beautiful, huh?"
Wait, is this a punch incoming?
Jumps across the ship.
No, Violet.
Lightning in the back.
But does Violet? What if Violet thinks that everyone is feeling what she's feeling, and now Haj'Draal is going like all sadistic? No, I don't know.
No, Violet is right now a little bit confused. She looks at Haj in a very, very suspicious way. She kind of feels her blood boiling.
Amogus.
Amouche.
But she's going to let it pass. For
Very
now.
well.
I'd like to say that I feel like Vesper would have seen it, and I think she's going to feed off of Violet's energy a little bit, and she's also going to feel a bit of that rage, that fire, anger in her.
But Vesper doesn't really know what the lightning means, though, right?
No.
But Vesper has a connection with you at this moment.
Oh yeah.
There is a sinking feeling in your stomach, trying to warn you of something. There's a moment where you feel it, specifically when Haj'Draal spoke. But it is immediately pushed aside. To the point where you know it was there, but maybe you ate something bad. What do you do with that in the future? It will be up to you. Now, this night when you go to sleep, Haj'Draal, you lay down, turn yourself away from the group, and you feel something, kind of a strange cold sensation on your nose, and then you hear a dripping sound, just a slight tap on the wood where you sleep of the ship. And you touch your face, and you follow this to your eye, and you look at it in the light, and there's just black liquid oozing out of your eyes. And you blink, and you're lying down on your side, and you blink, and the dead body of your brother is there, and then you blink again, and it's not. Haj'Draal, this night, the first night where you are sleeping with 3 points of insanity, you are going to take 2 points of exhaustion. Having your movement speed and giving you disadvantage on ability checks. And I believe saving throws as well, or attack rolls. I don't remember exactly, but it'll say on the status effect.
Half movement speed and what?
Disadvantage on ability checks, all ability checks, and I believe I'm not sure if it's attack rolls as well. Or saving
No, that's
throws.
at level 3.
It's just ability checks, right? At level 1.
Yeah.
In this case, level 2. He has both things. This will happen on this very next day. But you clean it. You clean that black ichor that's coming out of your eye. And you try your best to sleep. All right.
Wait.
Yeah.
The moment I heard him saying that,
Yeah.
did I feel anything on my bracers?
On your fist?
On my fist, yeah.
No. Currently, there are things more pressing on your feelings. Be it that question or that twisting pain from you gather Violet, thousands dead.
Okay.
From
By
a
the way,
tomb?
Yeah.
can I develop on what I was saying earlier with Haj'Draal? I mean, now that he has 3 insanity points.
For sure. What do you wish to say, my friend?
So as I was saying, the thing that was both keeping and also making Haj'Draal more cuckoo at the same time was his faith. Is that he was holding on to his faith, but at the same time it was like his connotation of his faith to Dalgar was getting corrupted in a way. And now with 3 points of insanity, I want to say that it seems even more so like that. Like Haj'Draal is still bent on following his god and being his holy cleric, as that's all he's been knowing for decades since he followed on this path of pilgrimage and the path of Dalgar essentially. But this notion starts to get a bit corrupted. He's still bent on following this path, but to him, this path is kind of twisting into another meaning. Like he said, with the destruction and everything, with the power of the tempests, of the storms, he's starting to shift more towards the storm rather than the calm after it and before it. He's starting to see that maybe peace, the notion of peace that he's being led to for the world, maybe it's not the peace that he once thought. Maybe it's another type of peace that has to be achieved by another type of means, and that maybe the means are the violent means. That's why everything is starting to make sense. Maybe is that why he has this power to him? Is that why he made those people die? Is that a sign that is meant to be, and that's what he needs to do? Maybe he was being led astray in some way, and after all, to him everything is connected. So
Right.
maybe this is meant to be. Maybe this transformation, this metamorphosis, is what is intended for him in a way.
Very well. So, last day. Who wants to roll these? The final D4.
I'm
Busy.
traumatized by rolls.
Fish.
No.
I'll do it. A 4.
Uh-oh.
Big Blue shows up and saves everyone.
A4. Emily. This is going to be you. It's going to be your moment.
Oh no, let's go.
So, I will effectively now say that you guys have dodged combat. But let's have a conversation, you and I.
Oh no.
Emily, you began this journey, and correct me if I'm ever wrong, expecting more stories, more things to sing about, or to write about, wonderful places to visit, great adventures that you could tell everyone back home about one day. And that one song. So let's talk about that one song. You are now faced with a powerful responsibility. You're the only one in this world who could flawlessly perform the Requiem of Cinders at the end. You've heard it all your life, sang it in your head, hummed it in the streets, in the moments where everything seemed bleak. Even in the face of your own nightmares, you still did that. The song has become a part of you as much as it is a part of this world, and how it's connected to its destiny. Now you have a responsibility, a duty. Whereas before, when your mind struggled with discerning reality, you found it difficult to understand your purpose, you found it difficult to understand the why, you found it difficult to know your place. Now it is crystal clear. There is power in this song. Not just in its melody, not just in the secrets its words reveal, but in the hope that it brings to the world. Because this song is that hope. It is one of the keys, perhaps a hidden key, that now you know of. You look at Haj'Draal and Vesper, and you see in them that wavering. You see in their eyes the shadows of old fears, the visions of horrors past, present, and future. It is crystal clear to you in this moment, no matter how distracted you can be, no matter how difficult of a time you have at thinking, you noticed it and you played that song because you noticed it. You wonder, Emily, if that's how you looked before. Afraid, spinning in thoughts that would make you look smaller, yet somehow more frightening to others as well. And you remember that it was Haj'Draal. It was witnessing him perform something you had never seen before that took you out of that. And if they're feeling this, they shouldn't feel like this, should they? I don't think Emily would like to see that. And they have a story. You have a story too, that now has a purpose, a deliverance. It's an even more powerful story than the one that you've been telling up until this point. And you've been reading the magical journeys of Big Blue. You know how stories are powerful. They help you dream. They help you wonder. They make you better. They tell you where to look when things are dark. Why is it that these two, right now, can't see their story? And how can you help them see that story? Emily, because you have rolled the maximum number, I am going to bestow on you a gift, much like Big Blue was given one. Right now, you have the power to attempt to remove an insanity point from one of your companions. But I will tell you this, you can use it whenever you'd like, okay? I'll tell you this.
Okay.
You'll have to think of the way you're doing this, whether it's related to this telling of their story, whether it's a song that you would like to make for them, whether it is a moment you remember with them. In any way you think you can help them, you can think this through and use this whenever you would like. It can even be in the middle of combat if it is a quick sentence or something that you want to tell them. But I will reserve the removal of the insanity point to the person with it. So they must think that it is enough to resonate with their characters in order for the point to be removed. But right now, Emily, within this group, you are the only one with this ability. Just by yourself, not just by talking, in a group and being all friends and the power of friendship. No, you sense that you, from the stories that you've read, from how you've managed to get out of the place that they might be in now, and even with one of their, it was one of them who took you out of that place, you sense that you can help them out. But it has to be strong, it has to be powerful for that to happen. Alright? So, that is going to conclude the travel tables. You've dodged combat and gotten all of the events instead. So, that's good. There was one event that might have not happened. So, it would have been cool if it was the one where thousands died, but such is the way of the dice.
Yike.
Now, my friends, let us resume this story. And Emily, whenever you want to use the power, you can just say it, and we'll go through it. Right?
Also, like in future sessions.
It can
as
be
well.
future sessions. It can be this. It can be whenever you like.
I need time.
So we're taking another long rest now because it's the next day, right?
No, we are drifting into the night of the final day. You are going to arrive tonight. All right.
Okay, so I still have the 2 points of exhaustion.
You are still going to have 1 point of exhaustion because you've rested once. So you're going to have 1 point of exhaustion.
Okay, with the same effects of half movement speed and disadvantage on ability checks?
No, now you only have disadvantage on ability checks. The half movement speed is gone.
Okay, it's because I also wanted to prepare spells. I wanted to make
Sure. You can
Okay.
go ahead and prepare whatever spells you would like. Since you've had 2 rests already, you could prepare them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to give you guys this power. Okay, so you will decide there will be no rolls. And I want to encourage you that if you feel, for example, in Haj'Draal's case, if you feel the 3 insanity points are way too much for whatever Emily comes up with, you are free to say no, or you are free to only clear 1. You are also free to ask me, I personally think this would clear 2 of them. What do you say, Dungeon Master? Oh, great, powerful Lord. And then I will, either give it to you or deny it. But I want this to be completely in your hands. And I want you guys to tell the story that you want. So in this specific part, no rules will be involved. All right. So let us resume this night, shall we? The cutter speeds up through the desert on what is, or should be, the final day of your travels. The night isn't as dark under the light of the full moon, but the silent desert, it still makes you uneasy. And I want to say I'm sorry for repeating that so many times, but often the nature of this horror and of trauma in people tends to be repetitive, so I will continue doing it, even if it bothers you, because I don't care about you. Fuck you. I'm just kidding. If at any point it's too much, I'll stop and make it worse. Anyway, although there's nowhere for anyone to hide in this desert, you still feel like you're being watched. And your heart beats faster. All of your heart. You slide up a large dune, cutting through the top and gliding for a moment as Nesli opens the glider wings on the sandcutter. In the distance, now getting ever closer, an immensely large forest of tall trees, and further at its core, one titanic tree with a canopy that seems to be well over miles wide, just as its trunk reaches almost into the sky. The Elder Root. The desert is running out. It is being replaced by green, and then by mountains to the south, which would lead into the wildlands Vesper would know. It may be less than an hour until you'll have to leave the cutter. Another tall dune rises, and the cutter... Oh god, excuse me. That one came from inside. I'm so sorry.
That was the weave coming out.
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry for breaking that, but... Another tall dune rises, and the cutter climbs it at an angle. You're close. You're almost there. Your heart beats stronger now. Your instincts are kicking in. The air is heavy. You're sweating. Your blood is curdling. With a loud snarl, a shadow flies across the deck. Emily, I need you to make an acrobatics check at disadvantage, please.
Whoa.
Oh, no.
Acrobatics.
Disadvantage.
Disadvantage. 21.
21. for my 26. You feel your feet lift up and a huge body collide with yours. There's fur. You feel claws sink into your lower back and you see the cutter get farther and farther away from you. And then poof, you hit sand. You roll and roll with this mass until you're thrown forward. You push past all the sand, you open your eyes. And in the moonlight you see what attacked you. A massive, eyeless werewolf with patchy black fur that's turning pale at the root, and through it you see dark veins that end in pale blue. On the cutter, you look down at Emily, alone with this creature in the sand, before you feel a sharp pain on your backs. Violet first. You take, in a moment, 10 points of piercing damage. Vesper, you take 17 points of piercing damage. And Haj'Draal, you take 16 points of piercing damage. As you sense that pain, on your back, you look at each other and ghostly arrows are stuck to it. You hear a scream. And when you look to the side, towards the helm of Fireball the Fifth, one such arrow is sticking out of the side of Nesli's head. And as you look behind you and to the moon, another volley comes, already streaking across the skies, leaving a haunting trail of pale blue at the very top of their path, being fired from ever far. And in front of you, the werewolf.
You're coming with us, dead or alive. The lady tires of the shroud around your mind. That memory shall be ours.
And that's where we're going to end today's episode.
Protect. I'm gonna have
Goddamn.
like 5
where-
locks on my memory, but like, no.
Where was Agnar?
Ragnar is watching with you.
Oh.
And I will tell you and end this session with... You've asked for it.
What did we ask though?
Remember
Talk
when,
about-
when
Yeah.
before, when the previous session, I told you, I have this really cool event planned that
Yeah.
I don't know if it should be
Scripted. Yeah.
scripted or
yeah,
on the rollable tailable. And you said,
Yeah.
scripted, dude!
Yeah, for the lore.
Yeah.
If we all died for the lore,
And so we
it'd be
did.
fine.
Great
ball.
job, guys. Fantastic.
What's his name? I don't remember his name. It's Snowbrick's character. Right?
Yorick.
Yorick. Yeah.
Oh, it's him!
Yeah, it's the
I didn't
werewolf.
And guess who's firing the arrows from an
Oh, I
impossible
wouldn't-
I
long
wonder.
distance?
Well, this
I didn't know. Missy's like.
You didn't realize
No.
I didn't realize it either. I didn't
if
put
it's
one and
an
one
arrow,
together
it had
either.
to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you're hitting from the back. I was like, it has to be Ares and ghostly Ares. Yeah, it's her. It's her. We're doomed. We're doomed. We have a week to prepare. Don't worry.
Dude, 3
Yeah.
had
At least
almost
I
killed
casted
us.
8 on level 2
That was just one
before.
guy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Guys, look. Haj'Draal has 3 insanity points and might lose control of himself, but you will be fine, okay?
He's gonna heal. He's gonna heal the enemies. Oh no.
Oh,
Hey, if at any point this is too much for you, you know, let's see what happens. Let's see what
Yeah.
happens, right?
Let's see.
But there is one goal that Emily, I at least would assume, I mean Fish obviously knows it, but Emily also, I would assume, knows it. You gotta protect whatever is in here.
Yeah.
Now is a bad time for people to come for whatever is in here. Because it seems they're searching for the memory, right? But now there's more. Either way, thank you guys for playing. First of all, and thank you for giving us all of those moments where we have so deeply understood your characters. It takes a lot to really, dig deep and come out with those feelings and relate to those feelings, even if for a moment. So thank you for that, and great job. And also, let's all pray for Haj'Draal for next week. And
Thank you. I need it.
our boy has suffered. It is indeed incredible how he did the 12% roll, and now it's just been in situations. It's just been natural one. It's been kind of crazy.
Poor Haj'Draal.
My gosh.
For us.
Classic Violet. Mizzy can't
Yeah.
help. Fuck him. Us.
I'm still in character.
But yeah, next week we're gonna have a session, so less time to wait than before.
True.
Great job, everybody. And to all of you watching, thank you very much for hanging out with us, and I hope that you enjoy what's coming for them, and I hope that you have enjoyed what has happened so far. Thank you so much for all the support. Anything you guys want to say?
Help.
It's gonna go great.
Just the 2 thumbs up from Haj'Draal.
It's gonna go good.
All right, folks.
We struggled against 1, now we're against 2, and I'm freaky, so that's cool.
Yeah, and you can't even see one. I don't know if that was clear. You can't see.
Yeah,
you just see the arrows
you can't
being
see.
fired. You
Yeah.
can't see the person firing them. I want that to be clear for whenever you guys are planning whatever it is you want to do next
Mizi's
week.
gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Don't worry.
You're still in a cutter, You're still in the sand
But
cutter.
Nesli!
Violet won't be. I just saw Emily being dragged down. Yeah.
Let's see. We're gonna have to roll initiative, and then we'll see how that goes. So the reason why I'm also going to explain just 1 second before you go. The reason why I'm not making you roll initiative right now is because I want you to have the surprise of the turn order whenever this turn happens, or whenever this thing happens, so that you guys can't plan accordingly to it. Because after all, this was surprise attack, so you won't know what the turn order is. What I will, however, give you as a piece of information is, Emily, you felt this person, or excuse me, werewolf that grabbed you very strong. You know the punches that the guy the guy that you fought has thrown at you. And I'm sorry to Mick, but at this moment, this is stronger than that.
Oh.
All right, and faster. So, bye guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye bye.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Come witness us die.
Nobody will die for sure. Maybe go insane. We'll see. Bye.
No cap.